Good?
Yeah, we're good. All right. Should I just get into it then?
Yeah, let's just, hi, I'm Brittany.
I'm Danielle.
This is Books as Bad as Twilight. We're going to finish up this fucking book called Elixir.
Whoa.
I'm raging.
Folks, I don't know if you just heard that tone of voice, but that's Brittany at her most excited. It's like the Crocodile Hunter. See here, everybody. I can't do an Australian accent.
No.
Crikey, look at this wild Brittany. Look at her getting so bloody excited. Oh, boy, I've got to read Elixir.
That is awful, Danielle.
Look, I relate very much to Dick Van Dyke.
But Australian accents are super hard.
They're bloody ridiculous. I can't do it. I'm trying so hard.
I know, and I appreciate your effort.
Thank
you get
you.
an A for effort.
Thank you. That's
Probably
all
around a C for the accent, though.
Well, I'll take it. Thank you. At least it's passing. Okay.
Okay.
I'm here all day. Anyway, folks, this is Books as Bad as Twilight. Welcome. Today's episode is brought to you by audible.com. Visit audibletrial.com/BaBaT. And there you can get a free 30-day trial to Audible. And you can get a free audiobook of your choosing. You have over 180,000 titles to choose from, so get on it. And, of course, we're going to talk about them a little later in the show. But let us get into our book. We are finishing up Elixir by Hilary, Duff, and Elise Allen.
So I want to, so this is the last 3 chapters.
Yes.
There are 327 pages, and Chapter 11 starts on page, drumroll please, 243. So, the last 2 chapters are about a quarter of this book.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Those are long chapters. And guess what? You get fucking nowhere.
I was going to say a lot happens, but, nothing happens at the same time.
Okay, so I'm going to do literally a 30-second synopsis of the next three chapters.
Cool.
They go to Tokyo. They meet a mysterious woman. She disappears in a way that we'll explain. Everyone realizes there has to be a dramatic sacrifice and that nothing happens. We are right back at the beginning. There's no resolution to any part of this goddamn book, and it makes me so mad because this is terrible, terrible writing.
Thank you, Brittany. I agree with you.
Thank you.
It's terrible writing. It's so lazy. The whole thing is lazy.
Yeah.
Because, here in Chapter 11, because it's Chapter 11 where they get all those flashbacks.
No.
Is that Chapter 12?
I think that's Chapter 12.
I think it is, but we'll get there then. But
so Chapter 11 is them just going to Tokyo in the mall. But go ahead.
Shibuya. I love saying that.
Shibuya.
Because there's a video game called The World Ends With You, and it's in Shibuya. I didn't realize it was a real place in Japan.
That's awesome.
So when I read this, I was like,
Shibuya 109.
Yeah, Shibuya 109. I never knew, but apparently it's real. So I'm hyped. All right, so
I'm actually gonna do this handheld today.
Nice. I'm loving it. We're real DJ.
We're real DJing.
I don't know where I was going with that, so that's
amazing.
Sometimes I just start to say stuff and then it's
realize that you don't know where you're going.
Which happens often, much more often than you would think. Except in real life, it's not the same. It's like you're talking and you're like,
You started that with one of your jokes, and then you backpedal. I'm learning your facial expressions when you're going into your joke. It's very difficult, but I'm here for it.
Brittany's learning as she goes. Learning my facial expressions. Mm-hmm. It's hard, but we're getting there. Yeah.
So they get to Japan, and so this setting is so weird for the mall. Why would all of these secret organizations set up something in the mall?
Yeah, it's so strange.
And we learned that Clea and Raina were at this mall before. Yeah. And that's why she knew there might have been a store called The Little Door. But they know that why did they even Google that name first at all?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Why didn't we ever go back to that forum that her dad was on and search for the name in there. Search Shibuya. Like, these people are shitty detectives.
Well, it gets them somewhere, so I guess they're...
Well, you know why it gets them somewhere? Narrative economy.
Nice.
Yay! I learned the word.
Yes!
Woo-hoo.
Air 5.
Air 5. With my mic stand. Okay, so they're there. What's happening? Danielle, tell me.
Well, they're actually not even there yet. This is after their sex scene, and they come back. Yeah, don't forget about this part, Brittany.
The most painful sex scene in the world.
Yeah, they did the do.
They did the do.
And now they're coming back, and it's been a little while, so they're like, how do we play this off, with them not getting suspicious? And Ben's like, I thought you guys went to Delaware or something.
No, I just had to find flaming hot Cheetos. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
What's the snack?
Were, my fault. I was dying for Red Hots. Pretty much impossible to find. So what movie are you watching?
Oh my god.
And my question was, did they actually get the Red Hots? Because I would think it was hilarious if Ben looked and like, there's no Red Hots in here.
They did get the Red Hots.
They did? Okay.
Yes, they did get the Red Hots.
Well, whatever.
Just get some hot tamales.
Yeah,
who
come
cares?
on now.
They taste the same. It's cinnamon.
True. And it burns your tongue.
Yeah.
It's
Burns
enjoyable.
your mouth. And also, you could get them at the dollar store.
Right. Oh, yeah,
Red
exactly.
Hots.
Come on now. And so Raina says that she's too tired to watch a movie now. So Clea, not getting the hint at first, is like, well, we'll just go in the other room. And Raina's like looking at her, and they have that conversation again.
Did they eat the pizza?
They already ate the pizza.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
before
They
went
ate
out.
the pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
they went out just to get snacks.
Yes. And
Okay.
to watch their movie,
Yeah. But they were gone for 45 minutes?
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
Yeah. So, so finally.
Okay, hold on. If they're in New York City,
Yeah.
right, it would take a long time to drive around in your car.
That's what I was
for
thinking
other
too.
places. Like, why didn't they just walk or take the bus or the subway?
How would they have sex, Brittany?
It makes yeah, but also what's the Holiday Inn? If it's by the airport, it makes sense because they're gonna be outside the city.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. They're not very clear.
It's not clear at all. So
Yeah.
it's just.
And if they're outside the city, then it does make sense for them being a long time. Then they wouldn't really have to lie.
That's what I mean. That's what I was thinking too. But yeah.
Anyway, go on.
So, they decide to stay Clea stays with Raina, and
they are not smooth that they're acting at all again.
Not at all. And so Raina's like, "Oh, the guys are gonna have a slumber party," and Sage is like, "Absolutely! Look out, Ben! I do a mean French braid." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny, but also." I looked and I was like, I like your humor, my friend. I don't like you, but your humor. Nice. So they leave. And so Clea doesn't actually tell Raina right away before they go to bed that she had sex.
Yeah.
It's the next morning, which I was kind of surprised about because I thought that's why Raina wanted to be alone with her.
Yeah, she wanted the deets.
Yeah, but she doesn't give her the deets.
No.
So it's in the morning.
When she goes to get cinnamon buns and eat them in the room.
Which was kind of hilarious because she puts it under Raina's nose to get her to wake up, and Raina like chomps at it, and I was like, I could see me and my friends doing that. So that was like a nice, don't want to give too much credit, but it's like a thing that people
funny.
actually do. Yeah. Gives personality to these characters, So she tells Raina that they had sex.
You know what though?
What?
The Holiday Inn Express, you know what they always do say about them?
What?
Their cinnamon rolls are amazing. I've never heard that about a Holiday Inn Express.
I thought you were being serious right there, and I'm like,
no.
Really? Do they?
No. They serve what? Continental breakfast?
They do.
You know what those cinnamon bun rolls are then? They're frozen.
Probably.
Just thrown in a convection oven.
Well.
World famous.
World famous.
World famous. If you asked someone in Tokyo when they go to the mall, what is your favorite thing about the Holiday Inn Express? Instantly, cinnamon rolls.
Exactly. That's what I would say.
Not the water pressure.
No, not the water pressure, which probably not very good. But you know what? Hey, the cinnamon buns aren't that great. So
Jesus Christ.
So they talk about. Oh, then Raina says something which made me go, ew. So when
Are you talking about her seat?
Yes, when she says, "Am I allowed to have a moment of ew for my poor deflowered passenger seat?" I'm like,
what does she think? There's splooshing everywhere.
other way. Like, it's just uncomfortable. It's like
so gross.
And like the fact that never occurs to Clea to be like, oh wow, I just had sex in my friend's car.
Put down your sweatshirt or something.
You know?
Ugh. It's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. So so Clea she just really wants to see Sage. You know, she really wants to see him again. Which makes sense. You know, after you have sex with, like, you have those emotions. Like, so of course she would be feeling that. Mm-hmm. But Ben comes over and Sage is not with him.
Nope.
They're like, where is he? And he's like, he went downstairs. So they think that he wants to be alone with Clea. Raina kind of, because she texts him, says, where are you? So Clea goes looking for him, and this was kind of weird to me because, like, I didn't get the impression, like, I was just confused what was going on. Mm-hmm. Like, she's looking for him, but
she can't find him.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm like, what's going on? But apparently he just wasn't there. He went for a walk, apparently, so they eat without him.
Yeah.
So it seems like he's avoiding her. Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to add, like, he didn't care. It was just a fling, and, like, he has no emotional connection to her. And all that stuff. And honestly, real life, it is just a fling. Like,
right.
Like, you guys boned in a car. You know each other for 48 hours. Like, there's no romantic element to this. Like, just cut your losses.
Yeah. And,
like,
I love Ben's response, too, like, with Sage not being there. Because he keeps going, well, I guess we don't need him anymore.
Yeah,
like, I guess he left. And she's like, no, we do need him. And he's like, oh, well, we don't really need him. She's like, no, we do need him. But not really.
But tell me, what has Sage done this entire time?
He's been moral support.
The only clue he had given them was the watch back.
Right.
That is literally the only thing he has done.
Yeah, it's just his...
They would have found everything else eventually.
That's true. Like, there's no reason for him to be here.
He said the Dark Lady and the watch. But, you know, if you're searching your dad's computer and you see all these things about the Dark Lady, and, like, you're going to pick up on that. You're going to search all his files. You did anyway. You took 3 fucking hours doing it.
Right. It's all weird. And
it's weird. Sage is a pointless part of this piece, besides being... There's... Oh, okay. No. Go on.
So they find Sage after eating their cinnamon buns, rolls, whatever. And...
Oh, I miss Ken's cinnamon buns.
He made them one time. I don't think I've ever tried them.
Oh my god, Ken's are so good. I have to
message
him.
At first I was like, what? But that's because I don't think I ever had them.
Ken is my old boss.
And he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He's awesome. Ken, you're great. Probably doesn't listen
no,
to this,
not
but
at
that's
all.
Okay.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Ken, what's up?
Miss you.
Yeah. So they get in the car, and Clea, like, specifically thinks, like, oh, he'll sit in the back with me. And so she wants Ben to sit in the front, and Raina's like, oh, yeah, he's better with directions. But Sage is like, hardcore, no, he sits in the front. He does not want to sit with Clea.
Yeah, because his legs are longer, and he needs the room.
Of course, which is, true, I've heard. I don't have long legs, so that's why
I've heard this is true.
I mean,
such a lame joke. I love you so much, Danielle. I mean, like, I've heard it's true.
I've heard it's true, but I don't know why.
People with long legs need more leg room. Is that true?
Is that true? Let us know. Let us know your take.
Hey, Alexa, do you need more leg room when you have long legs?
And you know what her answer would be? Sorry, I don't know that one. Which is her response to everything.
This is what I found on Wikipedia. I'm sure Google Home would know the answer.
It probably would. I use my phone for everything now. Like, I don't even ask Alexa. She sucks. She doesn't know anything. I literally asked them both the same question one time, and Alexa was like, sorry, I don't know that one. And then Google found it right away. And
I asked her this morning how many airports are named JFK. And she's like, there are 2 international airports in New York. JFK and such another. And then she went in to explain all things about these international airports. Does that answer your question? No. Thank you for your feedback.
Yes. Yes. And it's funny because, like, I asked her, I was reading a book and I didn't know the meaning of a word. Shit. What was that?
I don't know. My phone. Go on.
And I asked her what the word meant. So first I said it. She didn't know, so I must have said it wrong. So I spelled it. She said something completely wacko. I was like, that definitely does not, like, that's not what this word means. Yeah. So I spelled it again. And then she said it correctly. Like, it made sense with the definition in the context of the sentence. So and I said that thing where it was like, did I answer your question? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I'll give the feedback. And I'm like, well, that's like 1 out of like 70
Yeah,
million questions like that you didn't answer correctly.
Funny.
But anyway, so venting about Alexa is a lot of fun, but alas, we must get back to this book. So then
They make their way
say
to
goodbye.
the airport.
Yeah, because they go to the airport.
Yeah.
They say their goodbyes to Raina because she can't come. She has school. Because remember, she's still in high school.
And they don't know how long it's going to take.
Yes. So Ben is talking to Clea alone.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks her, did
What's
Sage
up?
hurt you?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no, I'm fine. I promise. It was the biggest lie I could possibly ever tell. I sold it hard. I even smiled and squeezed Ben's hand to prove it was true. And so he's just like, okay, good. And it's funny because she says after that, how had I ever doubted that Ben loved me? It seems so obvious now. And I'm thinking, clearly you aren't the smartest tool in the shed.
No.
Because literally, like, how could you not, like, all these things are signs, like, that you didn't even, like, think about it. Like, they're just
we're
a way.
just brother and sister.
Yeah, because there are ways people act, like, where you might not consciously think about it, but that there's just
You
something.
get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
And maybe you don't acknowledge it, but then at that point you'd be like, well, I guess I did sense something, or just something there to show that she isn't, like, a complete idiot.
Yeah.
But no, she is. So,
No,
you know.
complete idiot.
Yeah. So there you go. So, and she even says, like, if I'd spent a year loving Ben, would the pictures of Sage have had the same effect on me? I don't know the answer. Maybe you have a better. I don't know.
I don't have an answer for that either, because we don't know, and the reason why we don't have an answer for that is because we don't know these characters well.
Yes.
Because they don't have a lot of depth.
Right.
And if we knew the characters well enough, we'd be able to answer that question. And the fact that the author doesn't know what the answer is also tells us these characters aren't developed enough in her own mind. And the fact that Clea flip-flops constantly about whether or not she believes in the elixir of life tells me that she doesn't have a good idea of her own characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. And yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So her and Ben go to a magazine place. Or they want to get some magazines. He says he'll buy her a coffee.
Haha, I only drink tea.
So
That like
fancy.
joke that they've done 3 times already.
It hasn't gotten old. Actually,
The only
I
time,
forgot all about
the
it.
only time it was exciting is when she spilled the coffee all over him.
That was exciting. Mm-hmm. Oh, good old days.
Boner. I don't understand Ben's physique. Is he buff or not?
I don't know. I always picture him as, and I don't think you'll know this actor. I don't even know his name, but maybe I can find a picture.
What is he playing?
It's a movie called Dare. Okay, Google. Dare, the movie, 2009.
Is it like Truth or Dare?
No, it's like...
I was gonna say that's a horror movie.
Let me see if it'll bring it up. This guy. That's what I picture Ben looking like. Maybe because that character's name's Ben. Actually, now I think about it, so that's probably why I think
That's
of
probably why.
But that's how I picture him. I'll put a link in the show notes to the actor that I'm talking about. He has like a very normal physique. Like not very muscular, but not unhealthy.
Just an average built guy.
Yeah.
But like when she spills that tea over it, like
Right.
she's like, I could see his 6-pack.
Right.
You know, that's her.
That was a great noise.
That's her getting wet.
Yeah.
And that's what's all over Renee's seats. That is absolutely disgusting.
Oh God, that's so gross. But
gross.
yeah. So yeah, it is a question.
Yeah.
Is he a hunk? What is he? Who knows?
Maybe he's like a Spider-Man.
Oh, maybe.
Like kind of just
Yeah.
like one of those like very like thin rock climbers.
Like Tom Holland.
Sure.
Okay. I can picture that.
But yeah, so they're getting magazines for the flight.
Yeah, so she tells Sage to look at her, sorry. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all like, I don't want to look at you. Like, he doesn't say it, but, you know, he doesn't
He's being
look at her.
angsty.
Yeah, so angsty. And, like, in a way that's not believable. It's like, okay, we know what's going on here. And so she's telling him to not play games with her. And she's like, I don't need you to find the elixir or my dad. And he's like, I'm leaving the minute I can.
Okay, leave now.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, you got your next clue. Sage, what is your prerogative in this? Why are you going with them? What, like, honestly, I'm not trying to, like, I know where this story goes.
I guess because he feels she is his soulmate, so he wants to stick with her. But it's not expressed anywhere. Right.
That has not been said. He has no reason to go with him. No reason. He has no obligation to find her father.
Yeah.
Like, he already gave the watch back, so there's no reverse collateral.
Right.
Like, no reason for him to continue with them except for his own, like, research. But he was doing that before he met her father. So
yeah.
I don't know what role he plays in this.
Yeah, he just has to be there.
Yeah.
They want him there.
We know he has to be there because that's we know it.
Right.
They have not said it in the book because if you can't read between the lines of this book, I'm sorry, but, like, you are not at grade level.
Yeah.
Like, the book who this is written for, which is young adult, like high schoolish type of kids.
Even middle school, I'd say, but I don't.
But middle school, this is really. Subject matters too advanced for middle school.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Not the writing, the subject matter.
I agree, yeah.
So if you're a high school reading this and you can't read between the lines yet, you need to pick up more books. And your reading comprehension is not at SAT levels.
No.
So
yeah,
we know why he's there. But if we were just to take the book without reading in between the lines, Sage has no reason to be there.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
But
like a fundamentalist Christian.
He's
reading it word for word.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the word.
This is the word. Yo.
Capital W.
Yeah. So she goes to sleep on the plane and she dreams about her father. Mm-hmm. It's just a very happy dream. I don't know if it's really worth going into, mostly because at this point I probably skimmed over it. So when she wakes up, they are in Japan. And so she's just at this point, she's like, we just need to find the Dark Lady and figure out about the elixir, find my father, and then I could deal with Sage rejecting me. That's what she says.
It says rejecting me?
Yeah, it says, because it says...
Jesus Christ, you knew him for not even a week. How old are you?
It's insane, like, how attached... And I get, like, the book does set it up, but I don't think that's enough of a reason to excuse what's going on here.
If she has all this fucking doubt about the elixir of life...
Right!
Then she should have more doubt about soulmates.
Exactly. Like, because the book sets her up, and it makes sense in the beginning. It sets her up as a logical person. Mm-hmm. She doesn't believe in this stuff that can't be proven. But, like, you literally... Yeah. Like, when it comes to believing things that can't be proven, she's the first one to fall for it. Mm-hmm. Other than Raina, who's not a good influence on her, and we already discussed is the real villain of the story.
He's the succubus.
Yeah.
Funny.
Oh, God. So they go to the hotel.
Oh, they're at the
hotel. Well, they drop their stuff up, but then they don't stay there long. Yeah. So they go to Shibuya. Feels like Times Square, crammed with all this stuff.
And they get disguises because she's incredibly recognizable, even still. And there's Megatron?
Yeah.
Like, electrical things of her and Ben in Rio. What the hell? This goes back to what we were saying before. Like, who gives a shit about a senator's daughter?
Apparently in this universe, because remember, this is fantasy, so apparently in this universe...
this is a different universe.
Never mind. I don't like...
That was a good point, though.
Yeah.
Like, that could happen in this universe.
But to me, so you're right, I just think it's lazy writing. Like, it's hard for me to buy all this, like, because the universe is so much our own universe, and then it's so easy to say, well, it's a different universe. It's like, well, of course it is.
That's
like,
so dumb.
It's a fiction.
It's so
like,
dumb.
It's fiction.
It's not supposed to be a different universe. I think it's supposed to be like the underground government,
right?
Like,
exactly.
The dark, not the dark web, but a dark government, shadow government. That's what I was thinking of.
Nice.
So I think this is supposed to be like a shadow, kind of like the Masons kind of thing. But that's in real life. That happens. And guess what doesn't happen in real life? Obsessions over senators' daughters.
Actually, Brittany... No, just kidding.
I was like, what do you know that I don't?
Yeah. So
Probably
she gets
a lot, but still, go on.
Well, not true, actually. Or I know more about certain things. You know more about certain things. We've discussed this. That's why we're on a podcast together. Why do I keep looking?
I don't know who's over there.
Look, my life is like The Office, and I'm constantly looking at this invisible camera that's not there.
Instead of looking
I'm still
at me
doing
and
it,
having a conversation with you.
I guess that invisible person is the listener. Hi.
Hi, nice to see you. And it's also, we're looking at two different invisible people. You're looking at the couch. I'm looking at this NASCAR poster of Everham?
I don't, that's Casey.
Number 9.
Something Casey.
Casey Everham.
Maybe. Who knows?
Is that, wait, what is
I think
that?
that's just the thing that
Motorsports.
sponsors him. I think it's Casey Kane.
Garrett.
Oh, God. Garrett, NASCAR. Anyway, that's fine. I bought him a NASCAR game one time.
I'm so proud of you.
I didn't buy it for him. Like, he wanted to get the prime price for it, so he gave me his credit card
for him.
Yeah. Then he ended up returning it. It's a long story. Anyway, so
please let's talk about it.
So they go to the store, the little door, after they get their disguises.
Because they're looking at the director. It's such a long scene.
It doesn't need to be either.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let's find this. Oh, look how big this mall is. Oh, look at all the people. Oh, let's go here.
I mean, yeah, literally, it's like 3 or 4 pages of just like the disguise thing, a sentence or two. Like, it literally goes on for a few pages before let's find the little door.
Yeah.
Like, so they find this place. They look at the directory, 6th floor. They go up there. The person they're looking for does not work there. So then they're like, what could this mean? Maybe that means just a little door. So they start looking around. Okay, this is weird to me. They start looking in shops for little doors. And then they realize that, maybe it might be in the mall itself, not in one of the shops. Like, that is literally a realization that they come to.
I don't know. I don't understand their thought process.
Right.
I don't get it.
And what's weird too is like, it actually makes sense in a weird way when the dad wrote Little Door, because there's an actual store called Little Door that's actually kind of cool. But
that store has literally nothing to do with the plot line.
Right. So it's like,
legitimately, so dad writing Little Door wasn't to lead them to the Little Door shop.
Right.
The coordinates were to lead them to the mall. The Little Door, ladies and gentlemen, is a physical little door.
Yes.
In the stairwell.
Right. They go
of the mall.
They go to the stairwell. They find this little door, which
it's an access door.
Yeah.
You know, where maintenance goes through, and you know where blueprints will have on the fucking mall, and you know where the mall manager, because there are mall managers, like there's people who own those malls and the buildings and rents it out to these stores.
Right.
So I'm setting this up because there is a big quote reveal later on, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God. It's actually coming up right now.
And it's coming up right now. So there's going to be people who know about this fucking little door.
It's absurd.
Okay, also, I don't know if you ever did this when you were a teen, but while you're like just fucking bopping around places and you see a door, like I do it here at your house. Like, I'm like, oh, what's behind this door? And I go to open it. You know, I did that out in public places.
Right.
You know, I'm like,
people do
what's
it,
behind here? There's no sign saying an alarm will go off. I'm curious what's behind it. I'm going to open it. So you open up this little fucking door and you see a goddamn tunnel.
Right. It's a freaking tunnel. It's not even hidden. Like, it's just there.
It's just there.
Like, it's not like they have to climb anywhere. Like, they literally, it's just there. They
or
open the
there's
door.
no, like, false wall.
Right.
That you push on and it reveals the tunnel.
That reminds me of, have you ever read or seen the movie The Secret Garden?
Yes.
Do you know the movie, I think it was made in 93, where like there's like a secret door in her room, and what's hidden about it, it's behind a curtain, so it doesn't look like it would be a door, and then all of a sudden she moves the curtain and there's a door there, and then and that's what's interesting about it, but it's locked, so there's a mystery or something, where this, it's like opened, they just open it, and there's the tunnel.
There it is.
And it's like, oh, that easy? Well,
I
should go into detective work, I guess. Like,
oh, God damn it.
But anyway, and so
what
were you going to say?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
It
literally doesn't make any sense, because they crawl through the tunnel and what do they see, Danielle?
Oh my God. Okay. So
who do they meet?
Okay, so
Danielle?
this is the funniest part to me, okay? So I was a little confused at this part. Now that I know who this person is, entity, if you will. I get it. But she writes, okay, they walk into this one area after the tunnel, and she starts screaming, Clea starts screaming hysterically, because, it says, right in front of me, only inches away, a human body sat on an old velvet couch. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. It looked like a mummy without its wrapping. And at first, like, I was a little confused, because when she said mummy, I guess I didn't pay attention to without its wrapping. Like, so I was like, you mean a person? Like, yeah. What? Like, so I was a little confused now, but now reading the sentence, I see that.
Like, so it's a dehydrated corpse.
Yeah. And
that's
then
what a mummy is.
Yeah, and it starts moving. So she's freaked out. She passes out.
Yeah. Oh, this is where she passes out.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay. So let's break down this little part for a second.
All right. Let's do it.
When they open the door, where's the stench? When they open and they crawl through the tunnel, like, why doesn't it smell? Why, like, they get there and they crawled through this tunnel. How did a leather or velvet couch get in there? How did all these accoutrements get there?
Well,
was the mall built around this room? And if so, why is this person, like, living there? Okay. All right. So the thing moves. She passes out.
Yeah.
We find out that it's a living person.
Yeah. I mean,
Surprise.
Yeah.
So this is where so the book gets abnormally supernatural at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it went from probably around 40%, because the only weird thing that we've come across so far was Sage being in these pictures.
Right.
And in her dreams.
And the possibility of the elixir of life, but, like...
That's it.
Yeah.
So we went from, like, probably on, like, a 30, I would say, to a 94.
Oh, my God.
Like, automatically. Like, you see, like, have you ever seen a mummy without its wrappings?
Yeah, it's...
You're dried, you're thin, your bones are protruding, teeth are yellow, no hair. Like, it's disgusting.
Right. It's, yeah.
Like, so this is a mummy without its wrapping speaking to you, you know, because then we find out that it's a she.
Yes.
What's her name? Go ahead.
Her name is, I kind of forget.
Is it Magna?
Magnus something.
Magda. It's the clue that it's the person they were looking for in the. It's the dark woman, but it's also the person that they were looking for in the little door shop.
Yeah.
So that ties it back in. Okay. So she starts talking about the story. Is that the next chapter, or is it still this chapter?
No, it's the next chapter, on to chapter 12.
So chapter 12, she awakens from her passing out, and like,
and she's happy to wake up because he's in her face so concerned, and she's like happy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ. So Sage knows who this woman is. Do we get into that this chapter? I don't have the book in front of me.
No, you're right.
Go ahead. You can explain this part.
So basically,
you read it this morning. I did not.
Yes, I did. And so, it clarifies that Sage knows who this woman is. Also, she knows who Ben is. She says, and Clea.
And Clea.
Yeah, and she says, I also know your friend Giovanni. And so and this is very interesting, because the narrative says, I also know your friend Giovanni, it said, and rolled its eyes to Ben. He was pale and trembling, sweat beaded down his face, blah, blah, blah. And
poor Ben.
I know, poor Ben indeed. This is when I actually started paying attention more to Ben. Because I think this is the only chapters where we actually get an interesting Ben, kind of. But we'll get to that.
He was a puppy. He was a dog. Like, he was literally just a companion this entire time until right now.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And it's a shame, because you shouldn't do that to your characters. Come on now.
No. If you want a dog, you actually write a dog in there.
Exactly. Writing tips from the Books as Bad as Twilight podcast. So then it says the corpse, and then it gives her a gender. It says she said. When I read this, I was like, wait, like, I was a little confused at first, like, figuring out who this person was. So I finally got to it. I'm like, all right. And so then they learned that you're Shakespeare's Dark Lady, blah, blah, blah. And so they're talking about how she knew Sage 500 years ago. And and that she apparently was
Sage's lover.
Yes. So that was interesting. And then there was an interesting thing here. So it says, I looked down at her sunken chest. Sure enough, a delicate glass ball dangled there from a thin chain. That's what's keeping her alive. 'Cause she didn't get the elixir of life like Sage did, which they kind of get into.
I don't remember this part.
Yeah, so she has this glass ball there that's basically what keeps her alive.
But how?
Does it say? It just says a powerful mystic dad was born. She died in childbirth, after sealing my life force in the glass charm I wear around my neck.
So this is what I mean. Like, it goes to 94 really quickly.
And it just makes up random shit.
Yeah. There's no... Where is the magic in this world? What are the rules?
Exactly.
What are the
That's
rules?
literally one of... Look, I wrote that on the next page. There are no rules in this universe. There just are none. Because it just does whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because after she says this, Magda gave a phlegmy bark. And I'm like, ugh.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Also, I don't know why they said phlegmy instead of raspy.
Right.
Because she's supposed to be a dehydrated husk, except for the phlegm in her throat.
Right. That's why. I read that. I'm like, that is a very specific description.
So specific.
They're having a bit of banter back and forth. Honestly, it's not really that important. They start to talk about the head, being the head of the society. Magna was the head of the society.
Of which one?
It doesn't say just as head of society. Does it say it before that?
The society was the very first one.
Which is the one to protect the elixir.
No.
Oh.
The society, protect it, but it was just the society before it fractioned. Because then it was just the society.
Gotcha, okay.
And so she was part of this, and was Sage supposed to marry her originally?
I don't think so. I just thought I got the impression they were just...
Well, he broke up with her for Clea's past person. So he gets into the society. He has to be, because his father makes him, and his lover is across the way, who's Magda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he was supposed to marry her.
Right.
Because they wanted to keep it in the society.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. I get it.
So then he broke up with her because he wanted to be with Clea's former self. Whatever the fuck her name was.
Yeah. I forget, yeah. It says it at some point.
Because they were in the boat. This is, maybe like Catherine or something? I think her name is.
I think. I don't remember.
Excuse me, I burped again. I keep burping.
No worries. Where is it? Oh my god. Giovanni is Ben.
Giovanni is Ben.
Where is... Because it's a really... Oh, Olivia?
Yes, Olivia.
Yeah.
It was Olivia. And, this is the one they're like, let's run away together. But he's like, I need my family's fortune. Mm-hmm. They want me to be part of the society, blah, blah, blah. And Giovanni was in love with Olivia.
Right.
But they were best friends, Giovanni and Sage.
Yes. Which makes sense why they were getting along.
But this is where we learn about Ben's past life.
Well, should we say real quick that how they're learning about this is basically Magda has them sit down together and hold hands in a circle.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then she forces their eyes shut. And, Clea says she tried to open her eyes, but it was impossible. I was sealed inside whatever Magda wanted to show us. And we get
magic.
Yeah.
It's 110% right now.
Oh my god, this is like a plot dump like you wouldn't freaking believe. It is intense.
Yeah.
And it's literally, I think, the laziest thing I've ever encountered in literature. It's insane how much is dumped onto the reader at this point in the book, and there's no reason why this couldn't have been unfolded.
And like I was telling you before, this should be at the very beginning of the book.
Right. This is a Deus Ex Machina right here. Because she's just coming in and not really, but kind of. But sorry, I cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I was going to ask you what that means. I forgot.
Oh, that's the one, like, the best example I always give is Fox the Phoenix in Chamber of Secrets. When, you know, Harry's at, like, what's going to happen? There's nothing that's going to save me. I've been poisoned. And then, Fox shows up. Everything's better. Like, or...
all of our questions are being answered.
Yeah, like, kind of, like, just... It seems impossible. There's really nothing for the character to do, and then something shows up to save the day.
Okay.
And it's just so convenient. Like, oh, wow. There's better examples, but that's the one I always think of. So they are given a bunch of things. Or flashbacks. We start with her first past life, which is Olivia.
Her very first life.
Okay. I'm going to have a hard time with this one because there's a lot that happens here.
There's a lot.
So you kind of already said some of it, so I'm not going to go too much. I mean, we talked about the society. Ben is there as Giovanni. He's best friends with Sage. Giovanni and Sage are talking about the elixir of life that they're protecting, which Sage says he doesn't believe in.
Yes. And he talks about all the wealth of this society to Giovanni.
Yes.
Who is poor.
And he tells his friends who are also poor.
Yeah.
And who are described as mean-looking guys. And basically, one night during a society meeting.
So let me set that up a little bit because I want to stress this point.
Yeah,
Giovanni's character was best friends with Sage, and he needs to have a reputation on the streets. So because he's impoverished and he has this friend that's very wealthy. All these other street kids are like, he's taking pity on you. You're a pet project, like blah, 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 blah. And Giovanni, who wants to boister himself up and like show his friendship with Sage, be like, no, that's not true. He and I are actually friends. Like, why else would he tell me about all these riches that the secret society has? And so he's spilling the beans of the secret society that Sage is in. Because I was wrong. Giovanni's not in love with Olivia. I don't think he's in love with her. I was wrong. In a different life, he was in love with her.
Okay. Yes.
That was the one he was like spying.
Yes. Okay, I remember that.
Because that was her betrothed in the next life. We find out that Ben is also reincarnated in all of these lives, right? Which we knew before.
Yeah, like we pretty much knew that. Which, like, where's Raina in all of this?
I don't know. She's the only one that never gets reincarnated.
I guess not.
So then, now Giovanni and the other street kids go on, Danielle.
Oh yeah, they just come. They know about like the society meeting, and then they come, and it even says that Giovanni, he just like wants to be accepted. Like
that's
by
all he wants.
Yeah, so he is very much more trusting than he ought to be to these people who he tells about, you know, the elixir to. So in this whole society, so they come, and there's a lot of violence. They shoot. This is how they kill Olivia. Or I don't know if they shoot. I guess
is Olivia there?
I think she is, because that's how she dies the first time. It's the violent death.
Sage takes her with him to the society meeting because he wants the approval of his father.
Right, okay. Yeah, see, I'm sorry. I'm going to be...
This is so
we got to
much.
help each other, because there's a lot.
This is so much in, what,
it's
7 pages?
It's just, I don't even know. It's actually more than that. It's pretty long.
It's really dense, this part.
Yeah.
So he brings his new girlfriend to meet his father and his ex-girlfriend to get the approval of the society to ask for her hand in marriage. And at the same time, all these street rats show up and just shoot the place down because they're like, look at this cabinet, it's made of solid gold, and like, it's the elixir of life, even if it doesn't work, like, it's a good like snake oil and like all the type of shit. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of how Sage gets the elixir. I don't quite remember that part.
Well, because he gets shot, but then they pour it down his throat to see
if it works.
And it does, and he starts feeling stronger, but then they kidnap him.
They keep him in a perpetual state of injury, though.
They're constantly, like, they're testing things. They're throwing him off cliffs.
Giovanni is dead, too.
Yes, Giovanni is dead.
Giovanni died in this whole exchange. Everyone's dead in this whole exchange except Sage. And they only have one elixir left. Because they poured the whole... I thought they had 2. They had 2, but they poured that whole one down.
No, I mean, I thought they had 3.
It was only 2.
Okay.
It was only 2 because there was only 2 vials.
Okay.
Remember at the very beginning?
Yeah.
They found 2
vials.
vials.
That's right. Yeah, okay.
I think one broke.
Yeah, because
there were 3. 1 broke, 2 were left.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Then they...
I don't remember.
I forget how this goes. But long story short, they fed one of the whole things to Sage.
Yeah.
And so there was, I think, 1 or 2 left.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to see because I explicitly say at some point, but
Yeah.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
You know what?
It really doesn't
Yeah.
matter. There's no number significance in this.
I'll do 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Numbers have no significance in this, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So they keep testing how far they could push him, and he is just in these perpetual states of pain.
Yeah.
You know, and then what are they in the barn one day?
I don't even remember, honestly. There's so much that happens.
He catches him off guard and kills him.
That's right.
That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah. I don't even remember why, but yeah, I'll just accept that because I vaguely remember that. And I just read this morning.
Yeah.
So much happened. Like, I'm having a hard time remembering, like, piecing it together.
Yeah, and this is all just a huge plot dump.
Yes.
So,
it is. Yeah, because it says, Sage lunged for the nearest man, wrapping his hands around his throat and squeezing his windpipe. The other men in the carriage were so shocked by Sage's impossible recovery that they almost didn't move in time. Finally, they returned to their senses and grabbed Sage, pulling him from their friend and beating and...
This is the first time.
Oh my god, this is so long.
That's the first time
Okay.
they realized he was recovered.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right. There is one left because it says 2 huddled closer, plotting wild schemes to grab the elixir and split it between them.
Yes.
Okay. So this is so long. Oh my god. I thought it was long, but I'm looking. I'm just flipping pages.
Look at that. There's at least 2 more chapters in that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. And then so he revealed their blood brain attackers. The friends weren't stupid.
Yeah. So
then
even though Giovanni's dead, the attackers then told Sage how they knew about the elixir and all that stuff. So Sage realized he was betrayed by Giovanni.
Correct.
Which isn't really fair.
Right. It's not fair.
It's not fair. He didn't believe this stuff was real.
Right.
And so he told his friend. His friend also didn't believe it was real. Bullshitted with a couple street kids. And yes, everyone ended up dead. But you can't blame Giovanni for something you also didn't believe in.
I agree. It's a weird excuse. Like, that this book tries to put on Ben all the time, like in his past lives. And I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then it talks about the 2... or I guess sanctions you can call of this society, and how the saviors of the eternal life are the descendants of the society members, husbands, wives, and children who pass stories about the elixir from generation to generation. You mean to tell me that every single descendant, like, is it like the mafia? I guess.
Also, they have. I don't get. Okay, so. Oh God, I'm trying to understand it because. Like, it's cool to have stories that you pass down from generation to generation. They have no fucking physical proof of it.
Well, not only that, but it's so...
There's no, like, relic that goes down.
Exactly.
Through generation. It's just a story.
It's so... What's the word I'm thinking of? It's like... It's trying to be sophisticated because, like, myths are kind of cool, passing them down. But, like, this is so artificial feeling.
Yes.
And I don't... And it's just weird. It's just...
How long has this been? Like, what, 300 years?
Yeah, it's been 500 years.
500 years?
Yeah, because... Yeah, I think so. I think they said 500. It's just insane. And then... So I'm trying to put this all together. Buried the 2 vials... Oh, no. He buried the 2 vials in the dirt.
Didn't he pour them out, though?
The image changed. It was later that day. I saw Sage pouring out the remaining elixir, destroying it. He buried the 2 vials in the dirt, where my father's team would dig them up centuries later.
Yes. Okay. So this is where it explains. Okay. So now the society splits into 2 factions, the protector of the elixir and the destroyer of the elixirs. Okay. The elixir's gone.
Right.
So
I missed that detail. Okay.
They're only fighting to kill Sage.
Yeah, because I guess they don't know.
I guess. But what's her name knows.
Well, now, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
She knew this whole time.
Which, okay, that's another thing. We skipped a detail that we have to talk about. So Magda says that she's been sitting in this room for years, And she
she says that when they come out of the dreamscape.
Oh, does she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind. I'll
but
wait.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that she explains to them she's been living in this area, in
this
the
mall.
Yeah.
In this
for
tunnel
years.
in the mall.
Yeah.
Like,
to hear people, to hear life outside, and people bring her the necessities like food, which is weird because, like, why does she need to eat if she has that? Whatever.
Well, she still won't get hungry, I imagine.
I guess.
She just won't die.
Right. So I'm thinking, like, who is this person that brings you food? We never find out.
Yeah, is it the society?
Exactly.
Is it the security guards? Is it the maintenance men who obviously have to know about this fucking tunnel?
Who knows? Who cares? Anyway.
And why aren't they providing her with a better living space?
Right. It's so absurd.
It's so absurd.
Okay.
And a mall. A fucking mall. It's like the turkey all over again.
Yeah, it is like the turkey. It
makes no sense.
That's a new thing we're going to say. It's like the turkey.
It's like the turkey.
Whenever anything is so freaking absurd, it's a turkey.
Ooh, nice. It's also 3 strikes in bowling.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking. 3 strikes and you're out of here. All right.
This book is
Except
out of
not
here.
the same. So anyway, Catherine is the second.
Not the same. I love how you whispered that to yourself. And I really hope it was caught.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Not the same.
All right. So Catherine is the second life.
Yes. Oh, so then they speed through the other lives.
Yes. So at first I was kind of like, why? They're not really giving much attention to the other lives, but it makes sense because that was the origination of it.
Yeah.
But still, it speeds through these other lives. So we get Catherine. All right. So
all this is still in their dreams, in this dreamscape capsule thing.
Yes.
That Magda created when they all held hands.
Yes. So this is the one where Jamie, who's Ben, is betrothed to Catherine. And
she cheats on him with Sage.
And he accuses her of witchery.
Yes.
So she's being burned at the stake. Okay.
And he gets all upset.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Yeah, and if he
and who is he dies somehow, this Jamie. Does he kill himself? Throw himself on the flame? I don't remember.
I don't know either. I shouldn't say major.
I knew he made himself sick because he regretted the decision.
I don't even see anything about it. Let's see. Catherine, as a smoker, she saw Jamie in the crowd. He was pale and gaunt, as if he hadn't eaten or slept in weeks. He rocked back and forth, muttering prayers. It was too late. Yeah, just... Catherine shook her head sadly, then sought out Sage and Nicholas. She struggled against them. Tears. It doesn't say anything, unless I'm moving past it. I saw... Yeah, because then Annalene.
Okay, yeah, so he was just sickened by
guess
his
so,
decision.
yeah.
So he skipped to Annalene.
Which is the French actress.
The French actress,
Yeah.
okay. The one with the roses and the irises, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, so she was sent roses.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
During after one of her performances, and Ben's new reincarnation is obsessed with her.
Correct.
So
I think.
Yes. And then
Julian.
and on their wedding night, they got married. What's her name? And Sage.
Yeah.
And on their wedding night, she's stabbed through the heart with a rose. She's killed.
Yeah, she's killed.
She's murdered. And then this is everything is a flashback to one of her dreams.
Yeah.
So if you remember, she was stabbed through the heart by the thorn of a rose, and that was also in this as well.
Yeah, and this is where we start getting this kind of. You'll see this with every single flashback now, or every single past life that
Ben's
she's had.
the reason.
Yeah, it always says, it's like, I recognized Julian when I saw him, not only because he'd appeared in my dreams, but also, of course, because he was Ben. Oh, I recognize this person because it was Ben. Oh,
yeah,
I
why are you
him,
realizing
Ben.
this now?
Yeah, what?
He was, yeah.
Oh, well, he has different clothes on, so I didn't recognize him. They're...
Yeah, it's like Clark...
Yeah, Clark Kent. Yeah. Let me bark. Don't want to do that again. So then we get to see Delia.
And Delia is the mobster.
Yeah.
And Ben was the piano player.
Yeah.
Who was in love with her, I guess?
I'm trying to find out. Is his name Eddie?
Eddie tried to distract
He'd make her a star.
Husband.
No, Sage is the new piano player.
Oh, Sage is the piano player.
Eddie is the... Well, you were right. The notorious gangster. He thinks he's going to make her a star.
So Eddie was her husband.
Is he? Okay.
She was seeing Sage on the side, and Ben was the piano player.
Well, no, I think it says Sage is the piano, because it says then Sage, the new piano player at the speakeasy, showed up.
Okay. I know Ben was a henchman to the mob king.
Oh, maybe he's Richie.
Kingpin.
Maybe he's Richie.
Yeah, because
okay.
Richie is distracting the kingpin, Eddie, or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
okay, you're right.
And then he was pushing too hard on the narrative.
Yeah.
That, and she's just powdering her nose.
Right.
Or like whatever it was. And the mobster got suspicious and killed him.
Right. And it's funny because like the narrative like is even getting bored with itself. It says Richie once again was Ben. I'm like, F this book, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so bored with itself.
Like, and so so then we come to an interesting scene, which is finally different than the others, where we see her father.
Yes.
With Magda.
Yes.
And they're holding, or she sees her father's hands, and so he's talking to Magda, and she's basically showing him everything that she just showed them.
And warns her father that Sage is dangerous.
Right. So that's why he sought him out.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm just going to pause here.
Yeah.
How did her father fucking figure all this out?
Right, because there's a part where it talks about the Dark Woman, and there's all these theories, and the narrative actually says he didn't believe the popular theories. So how did you find the other freaking theories?
How did you find this fucking door?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how could you possibly have come to that conclusion if it's not somehow circulated about?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how we end up here.
Yeah.
I don't, because I know how they ended up there.
Oh my God.
Because all the clues father left.
Right. And
how did Dad get here? How did Dad get here?
Dad,
why'd you go fucking disappearing on us without explaining your side of the story?
Yeah, because where is Dad now?
Dead.
Did we find out? Is he dead?
No, we don't find out.
Okay, we don't know, yeah.
We don't know yet.
So Dad finds Sage, and he says there are two options for Sage. Cursed Vengeance, which is one of the sanctions or whatever, thinks they need to destroy you, but they don't know how. If they get you, your life will be nothing but torture as they try. The saviors of eternal life see you only as a vessel for the elixir. In their hands you'll live as a museum piece, displayed under lock and key. One of these groups will find you. It's only a matter of time. So basically he's talking about, like, every time you get involved with my daughter, even in past lives, she ends up dying a gruesome death. So he's going to him basically to plead for her life.
Yeah.
Which would be emotional if we actually cared about these characters.
Exactly.
It would be very emotional. That's terrifying. And he even shows a picture of Clea, and Sage is like, well, like, she's lovely, but he doesn't, like, act like he recognizes her, which, the way it's talked about, I don't think he does.
Yeah, I don't think he does either.
Yeah.
Until he sees her on the beach, and he recognizes her, and then he feels the pull.
Yeah, because even he says, like, you've met her. It's Olivia. And that's why, like you just said on the beach, he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he does that. He feels nothing towards her until he sees her on the beach. Not a single thing.
Yeah, and so, let's see. It wasn't fair he'd find her. It won't end well, the dad says. You'll be fine. You always are, but she won't. She'll die horribly and painfully. How many times are you going to let this happen? How many times are you going to rip this woman away from her life and everyone in it who loves her? You might be able to wait and get back in another 100 years, but we lose her forever. Which is a good point. You know, fair point. But
this whole thing reveals a huge plot hole in the entire fucking book.
Please tell me.
When Sage has met her father, he knows all of this. He's lived all of this. When she finds him and she's like, I don't need your help, he could still just fucking leave.
Right, exactly.
There's literally no reason for him to be following them. There isn't. If he wants to live, he'll just be inconspicuous. If he wants to die, he'd turn himself into one of the societies.
Right, and it tries to justify, like, I get it, but it's so dumb. It's like, it's trying to say that basically he really, like, is attached to her, and he's, like, called almost toward her, and because they're soulmates, so he, like, is naturally drawn to her. But it's like,
but it doesn't say that anywhere.
Yeah, it's like,
he had no draw to her until he saw her on the beach.
Right.
It wasn't like magnets. He wasn't pulled to her. He never saw her in his dreams. And like, he hasn't seen her until that picture came up and until she's on the beach.
Right. And that's why it's weird because, yeah, it's just...
There's no rules to this. There's no rules.
Yeah, there are no rules. It's really annoying.
So then they pop out and Mummy Lady is like, well, here you go. I know how you can die and finish the whole cycle. You have to do these long list of instructions.
Yeah, oh my god. I wrote, of course it isn't that freaking easy.
Can you please read the instructions?
Okay, so...
It's insane. We're almost at the end of the book.
Yes, she has a gold blade. That basically what he has to do is stab himself. But it's not that easy.
No, because he has to do it as the lunar cycle enters into his third house, and Mars and Venus aligns with you. No, I'm joking. It's not that detailed.
It's like, there are considerations for the universe. The universe before it grants release. You must build a fire, and by its light you must demonstrate an understanding of your time here and all the earthly pleasures you willingly sacrifice to set things right. At exactly midnight, this is the challenging part, you have to shove that blade into your heart. You have to do it. No looking for other willing volunteers. And so then Clea's like, that's not going to happen. And Magna rightfully says, well, that's not your choice.
Exactly.
And I'm like, thank you. And of course, like, why Clea? Like, Clea, I don't understand this character.
You just relived your last 4 lives.
Yeah.
You had no feelings. You met this guy so, like, short. Like, you've known him for such a short time.
Right.
You don't believe it, then you do believe it. Then your dad is missing, then you don't care about it, and then you care about it, and then you find out this stranger you now know leads you to all these deaths, has to kill himself, and you demand that he still something just because he took your virginity. And like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And like, how do you demonstrate all the things that you're going to be leaving in this life? How do you demonstrate that?
Exactly. That's so...
And exactly at midnight. Okay, where?
Yeah.
What time zone are we in? Because there's midnights all over the place.
Right, that's true, yeah.
Like, is it...
Well, at midnight, that's what you do in fantasy. Midnight's important.
Yeah, but what midnight?
Look.
She doesn't even give it, like, a sector of the world to be in. Like,
well...
Is it midnight in China or is it midnight in the United States?
It's like he stabs himself. Damn, I was supposed to be in Central Time Zone.
Fuck me. Exactly. Are we in daylight savings time or are we in standard time?
So true.
Like, there's, like, you have all these lists of other contingencies, but, like, you'd say, like, why at midnight? It could literally be any other time.
Well, then...
You don't have to specify a time.
Well, can we also talk about the fact that Magda apparently has been waiting for Sage for years?
Yes.
And she says, this is what she's been waiting for, this moment. She says, goodbye, my love. It's time for me to rest. And then she takes the necklace off and disappears. Like, she just fades away.
Doesn't she smash it?
Or... This kind of rush you'll know. With an impossible burst of strength, she whipped up her arm, ripped the chain from her neck, and hurled it to the ground where the glass shattered.
Yeah.
Magda's paper-thin body dissolved into dust and disappeared. So she did.
She did. But she was a mummy. She was a mummy.
Yeah.
Okay.
A corpse. Yeah.
So
Well,
before she became a corpse / mummy, she had a physical body, like a flesh and blood body. Wait 80 fucking years and go find Sage and tell him all this shit.
Right, like...
Why did you wait 500 years?
And I guess, like...
Why didn't you seek him out 200 years ago?
Yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, maybe... Okay, people make mistakes. Maybe the second
Where were you living before this fucking mall?
Right, exactly. That's another thing. How long has she been here? Like, I could see the second past life maybe not happening because, like, that's when the pattern starts.
But the third.
Right. Like, where was she? She never comes into the story. And, like, she's just been here, kind of chilling. That's a long-ass time.
That's a long-ass time. And, like, do all the other, like, people, like... We talk about the generations before. Do they, like, meet her?
Right, exactly. Like, do they worship her? Is she, like, a god?
Yeah, are you a god, Magda?
I mean, kind of. I mean, not a god, but, like, she's
a being.
Yeah, she's lived for a very long...
I don't understand.
So
she disappears. Yeah,
she disappears. That's the end of chapter 12. Now we're on to chapter 13.
Which literally is, like, 10 pages long.
Yeah, this is like Breaking Dawn, kind of. Like, it just ends so quickly, and it's not in the sense where Breaking Dawn actually comes to a conclusion, if a dumb one. Where this one, it's just literally a tease.
I'm not even teased. I'm fucking angry. I am not even blue-balled. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, invite you over for a delicious meal and I give you a saltine cracker.
Right.
That is what, like, that's what I feel right now.
Yeah.
Or, like, I invite you over and all you serve me is things that I'm allergic to.
Right.
Like, because we come to this, we want, fuck me. Okay, so Sage decides to kill himself.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Which should be emotional, but it's not.
It's not. So he goes to the beach, right? They're at a beach.
Well, don't forget that before they go there, the reason they go to the beach is because somehow people know that they're here. Somehow.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Then they were chased out of the mall.
Yeah, and there's a big car chase.
Big car chase.
You know, and Ben is, like, visibly upset. But
yeah,
like,
because he's openly apologetic.
Right.
Because he does realize that he is the cause of all these deaths, which I don't think he really is.
No, he's really not.
Two of them, yes.
He's involved.
He physically killed them.
Right.
But the other two, no, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, it's literally just, it's fate. That's all it is.
It's fate.
Oh, it's so frustrating. And that's such an excuse for me. Like, that's just bad writing. I don't know. It's just so, or bad plotting. I don't know. It's just bad. So they're driving away. Sage is driving away from the cops in traffic.
Not the cops, just the.
Well, aren't there?
Are there
Maybe
cops?
I'm wrong. I don't know. There's a lot of cars chasing them.
There's a lot of cars chasing. I thought that was all whatchamacallits, though. I thought it was all the society. The bad society, by the way.
Oh, maybe.
The bad society. Not the good society.
Yeah.
That wants to keep him as a relic, but the one that wants him dead.
Right. So here's the part where we were talking about Ben and how he's a pretty boring character until now. Ben is physically and mentally going through something right now.
Yes.
Where he has to deal with the fact that his past lives have supposedly caused all these problems. And he is genuinely trying to deal with that. Clea's not dealing with any of it.
No.
It's very shallow.
All she cares about is Sage.
Right.
Sage.
Like, that's it. She only cares about this guy she met like 48 hours ago or whatever. And it's a shame that we couldn't get some internal conflict from her. All she cares about is saving his life. There's nothing else that she's considering. Her father, Ben, her own life.
Her father. That is the fucking thing that pisses me off more than anything in this world.
Yeah.
Is like, she has lost her father. Her father, the one she honestly and truly believes is still alive.
Yeah.
And you just don't give a shit?
And this is the part, this is interesting, where they go, they stop the car. She says she's going to text Raina. But no, she goes on this website.
On the form that they...
The form.
In Act 1 that they mentioned.
Yeah.
Act 1 of this book, which is part of the BaBaT Society.
Yeah, Saviors of Eternal Life.
Not even the good one, the bad one.
And I wrote quickly and simply who I was, that I was with Sage, and we were on our way to Kajungkuri Beach. I probably mispronounced that. I apologize. I said that if they wanted the elixir, they had to get to us by midnight or else it would be too late. So first of all, my first reaction was, have you ever seen A Christmas Story?
Yes.
You know the part where the kid drops the F-bomb and he says Schwartz said it? Yep. That was a beautiful impression.
But I didn't say fudge.
I love that movie so much. But I love when she's the mom calls the other mom and she's like, no, he heard it from your son. What?
Again, on the phone.
That was my reaction. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You stupid bitch. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like,
so she rather have Sage eternally tortured than dead.
And she's taking away his own authority over himself.
Yeah.
Like,
suicide's not the best option.
No.
But in like this situation, I will never blame someone for suicide.
Right, yeah.
You know, like they're in a position that they think that they can't get out of, and the only way to do it is to take their own life. You know, like that. It's an unfortunate reality, but it's a reality.
Right.
So her doing this was not to save his life.
Right.
Or to help him.
It was so
she didn't lose him.
Right. And so selfish.
It's so fucking selfish.
And like, my question too is like, I guess the people chasing them are the society, but like, they just happen to be in Japan. We're all like, so
they're everywhere around the world. Don't forget.
Oh, right.
They're everywhere.
Of course.
Because they're descendants.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just wrap this stupid book up. So they get on the beach. he's starting to, set things up, and they're...
Does he draw in the sand, like, pictures of his past lives or something like that?
Yeah, he starts to do something like that.
He does something, and that's what he's showing that he's giving up. That's his, like, sacrifices, realization of everything that he's sacrificing by killing himself.
Yeah, and he
with his gold knife.
He has gold knife, and he's crying, so he is emotional about it. But then, right before midnight, the cars come up and they start shooting at them. Clea gets shot in the leg.
Yes.
So
then they run.
Yes, and presses leg. Clea, another voice. Ben. Blah blah blah. I don't remember how it ends, to be honest.
Oh, they capture him and they throw him in a van.
Okay.
And Ben pulls her away.
Yes.
To safety. And I don't know why she's fucking upset with Ben.
Right.
Like,
it's
she's
so dumb.
so angry with Ben, and Ben's like, I'm sorry, and like I don't know what to do. I want to fix things. And how does it end?
So she said, wait, hold on one second. So,
just read it.
It's okay. So it says, it's a deal, Sage said calmly. Me for him. Let him go. No, Ben said weakly, but there was nothing he could do.
Oh, they grabbed Ben.
Right.
Yeah, the society grabbed
but
Ben.
But that's not Ben's fault. And she even says, Clea, Ben
That's
began.
Okay, go ahead.
He says, he was next to me now and tried to reach for me, but I pushed him away. Do you hear that? I shouted, the police. 5 more minutes. That's all we needed. All you had to do was stay where you were. Sage would be here and alive. But, like, that's so selfish. Like, it's so self-involved, so annoying. And Ben starts sobbing. Like,
yeah.
And so she says she would normally comfort him, but she's numb. She doesn't want to comfort him. So the police come, they take them, and they ask them, if they think they're involved, and they lie and basically
said no, we were just running from the beach. There's some gunshots, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and so the saviors have Sage. He has the dagger with him, so any midnight he could kill himself, and I'd never even know. But I feel like she would know. I feel like because they're soulmates, I feel like there'd be something she'd feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no rules. It's my mom. She's
washing.
She has like one of those wet vacs.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what that is.
I could tell by your face all of a sudden. So then she says, if Ben hadn't come running down that hill, and I'm like, damn you!
If you would have fucking told the people where you were at.
Exactly.
You know what? All you had to... Oh, okay, so she tried to proposition Sage for sex to distract him for that 5 minutes. Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we can't do that. I have to kill myself.
Right.
Right? But she had texted the society before that.
Right.
Before she propositioned him for sex. You know what she could have done? Just fucking fought him for the goddamn knife.
Right.
Or,
easy things to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Push him over. Hit him over the head. You didn't have to call the society to take him away. That was literally not even an option.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other avenues you could have done. And, okay, so let's wrap this up. So go ahead. Is there like a couple sentences that they go back home?
They're still at the hospital,
shit?
or I guess at the police station. I thought they were at the hospital.
They might be at the for her leg.
Yeah. And she's just, reflecting, like, it's not my leg that hurts, Ben. Like, oh my God. And then she's like talking about how she was exhausted and, it might be a perfect escape if she just went to sleep right now. But, if she went to sleep, she'd think about Sage. And
God, I'm so mad. Go ahead.
Ben sighed. It was like nails down a chalkboard. And then Ben does not. He wants to get up and help her, obviously, but he won't because he knows her mood. And she talks about not being able to recognize herself. And I'll just read the last part.
Yeah.
I had a sudden feeling that this stranger could have a world of secrets to share. Maybe I just needed to listen. I tried. Nothing. I leaned forward.
What, stranger herself?
I don't... Inside, I stared at my face in the mirror. It didn't look like me.
Okay.
I wondered, okay,
Yeah.
So I leaned forward, staring into her eyes. I looked away and went back to my seat. Whatever she had to say, I couldn't hear it. I didn't know if I ever would.
They're going home. They're on the plane home.
Okay.
That was it. That was it. And let me tell you why I'm so fucking pissed at the end of this book. Because the only good part starts we're in this fucking mall, which makes no sense.
No.
And the magic and myth of it jumps to 94. Great. Cool. That's all fine and good, but there are no rules. And with every story, you're supposed to have some kind of resolution. If it's a series, that's fine. Series are great,
right?
But you need some kind of resolution.
Yeah,
even if it's a bad one,
right? You know, something.
There was nothing in this. We still don't know why Sage is in her photos. We don't. There's no explanation for it. There's no explanation of magic. Magna could have perfectly explained it in that little part, and I would have been a little bit more satisfied.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
Like, there's no thing about her father. Like, a perfect ending would have been them coming home. She could still have this emotional turmoil, arrive home, go to her dad's study, and her dad's there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Done. That solves an issue. And then now we know that they're going to join up together to save Sage, you know, like, and break the cycle another way. You know, Ben could go through a complete character transformation, which he is beginning to.
Right.
You should never put a character, like, a change at the end of a book.
I was going to say, like, everything is happening. The good stuff is happening, and it's ending. Like, or maybe not even the good stuff, just stuff we want to know.
Stuff that is actually happening.
Right.
Because for up until this point, literally all they did were run.
Right.
All they were doing were running. And, like, it makes sense for the last Harry Potter book for them to have a good portion of them running, finding the Horcruxes, because you had 6 books beforehand developing their character and their story, and the rest of it was running.
Yeah. And even think about, like, not that this is the best example, but the best one I can think of at the time, other than Harry Potter, is A Series of Unfortunate Events. Mm-hmm. So have you read those?
I love the TV series, but I haven't read the books.
So the books are interesting because, like, with every book, you know, we run into Count Olaf, and it's like, why does he keep finding us? But what makes those books work is that every book has a plot of its own, but then there's a grander plot outside of it. And that's you can critique that series, but you can't critique, like, the structure too much because
the framing is pretty good.
Yeah, because it knows what it's doing, and that's a good writer. So
we're still okay. We have like 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah. You just have to have something to leave, because what happens is a lot of the stuff that's unveiled to them, or nothing's unveiled to them.
Nothing.
Everything that happens is stuff that should have happened in the beginning. Like you said before, I don't know if this is on mic or off mic, but you said that we should have started with the reflections, like the Magda stuff. Mm-hmm. First of all, get rid of stupid Magda. Just have these literal reflections of these past lives. Maybe go back and forth between times. Just something, because these revelations are things that should be setting up the story for us.
And you know what also pisses me off? Mm-hmm. You know how long that part was with her retelling everything?
Yes.
We've already been told it 4 fucking times.
I was going to say, yeah.
In each of her dreams, and her, like, looking at Sage and reliving it, and then finding the paintings of all the ways that she already died, in her conversations with Raina. We already know all of this.
It's all padding.
It's all padding. You've said this 5 times already. I'm tired. Like,
tired,
let's go.
Right. So true. Yeah, it's a mess. It's such a mess.
It's a mess.
And it's a shame because, like, we've read 3 books in this podcast now. I'm surprised to say that this is easily the worst. Yeah, and I know, like, Lost in a Book, like we talked about, that book was bad, funny, but it was fun.
It was funny. I cried in that book.
Yeah, that's right, you did with Otto.
With Otto.
Yeah.
I had such an emotional connection to some of those characters.
Right.
Like Otto, he was great. And the other marionette that was evil.
Henry,
he was a great character. The Countess was well developed. You know, the sister wasn't. Like, there's so many tropes in that book,
but at least it knows how to write a book.
It knows how to write itself.
And I guess I forgot. We're still going to have another episode, obviously, where we talk about the book as a whole
and the writing.
Maybe we'll have Tatiana on for that one.
Yes, because she'll be able to talk about her
because she has strong feelings, as far as I understand, about the book as well.
But even Harry Potter, like, out in the play, what is it called?
Oh, Cursed Child.
Child. Even I was okay with that,
right?
Because Scorpius, phenomenal. He was a great redeeming character. There's not one single fucking redeeming quality about this goddamn book.
Right, exactly. Like, this book, it's like, okay, let's look at these successful books, stories of these romances, and let's just put certain things in there because, well, that's worked in the past, but like you can't just do that. Like
it's 10% of every good book.
Yeah, exactly. And like you can't, it's like kind of like saying, oh, well, those clothes are cool. Suddenly I'll wear those clothes and I'll be clothes too. And then I'll be cool.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work like that. And just because you do things that better books have done doesn't make your book good.
No.
You have to have some kind of heart behind it. I don't want to put it all on Hilary Duff because I don't want to say a person writes a book and doesn't have a heart toward their book.
Yeah.
But like, I really wonder. I guess maybe we should just stop now so that we can talk about this next episode when we wrap the book up. But yeah, we definitely have some strong opinions.
Tired.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been a long journey,
tired.
but hopefully, yeah, it's just been a rough ride with this book.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So. We're going to wrap it up now, folks.
I need a fucking funny something.
Boobs.
Say something funny. Boobs.
We got to end it with a laugh. Honestly, we can't be this mad. So, folks listening at home, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Once again, our episode is brought to you by Audible. audibletrial.com/BaBaT is where you can go for a free trial of Audible for 30 days, as well as a free audiobook, 180,000 titles to choose from. It's a really great thing. Personally, I'm about to read a book called Boy Erased, which is going to be made a movie.
Ooh.
It's about a boy who realizes that he's gay, but his father is a pastor. And it's about, like, I think it's based on a true story about, like, gay conversion therapy and stuff. I'm not positive because I just...
terrifying.
Yeah, I just started, like, not even listening. I just added it to my iPod. So,
Yeah.
but it's being made into a movie, so as I understand it. But, so I'll recommend that since I just started.
Our art was done by Katie Hartung. Her website is also in the notes. Check her out. She's pretty cool. Kevin MacLeod did our music. Thank you, Kevin. You're awesome.
You're awesome.
We also have social media, right?
Yes, we do. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, you name it, we're all over. All those links are on our website, which is www.babatpodcast.com. So go on over there. There you can email us. You can submit a voicemail. You can see all of our episodes, find links to where you can listen on iTunes, Google Play. And even if you go on iTunes, head on over and leave us a 5-star review.
Oh, sorry. Audible, I just went onto there, has 420,000 titles.
420,000 titles.
That's a lot more than we anticipated.
That is a lot more. So, wow, 420,000 titles, folks. That's a lot to choose from. Why not use our link? Head on over there, audibletrial.com/BaBaT. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. The next book we're going to be reading is Where'd You Go, Bernadette? So be sure to start reading that in preparation for our next season, which will be out, if our schedule goes the way we're thinking, in December-ish. So we'll be reading.
That's perfect because in the beginning of the book, they talk about the holidays.
There you go. Oh, awesome. That's great.
That's the only thing I remember about it.
There you go. Yeah, because this is the bock that Brittany has actually kind of started to read.
Yeah, and I gave up because I did not like the writing style.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm not.
So we're looking forward to that. And I feel like I wanted to say something else. But, next episode we'll be talking about...
Sorry.
That's okay. That was just a funny noise. Sounds like a little fish. Oh my God.
We'll be giving our... Oh God, that was too close to the mic.
Oh, you were fine.
Our rating 1 out of 5 for the book and just talking about it in general.
Yes, indeed. We're looking forward to it. So, I guess that's it.
Tatiana, come play with us. Tatiana.
All right. Look, we like to sing. What can we do about it?
This episode.
Yeah, we hardly did. That's true. There's something wrong with us.
Thank
you for listening.
I gotta go to a gun bingo.
Okay. Whoa. Too much information, Brittany. All right. Bye.
Bye.